welcome to the JoySex podcast for October. My name is Michelle Tanner. It says Dr. Hank. That's because I'm using his Zoom login. He is not here because he's in Italy with his wife, but we do have a special guest, my friend Christina Harter. Christina, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, I would be here alone.
Oh yeah, that's so good. I'm glad that I could help you out and be here.
So we got together a couple weeks ago to figure out what we were going to talk about, and Christina said October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was like, good point. And sex can help with our mental health, so that is what we are here to talk about today. And we were going to talk a little bit about Chapter 7 in the book, which is admiring the beauty in yourself. And we were just coming up with some ideas, and how you can admire the beauty in yourself is self-love.
Mm.
And I
I love
never
sex.
personally loved myself until more recently. Have you struggled with that in your past?
I think I more struggle with it. I've struggled with it in my past, and I've also struggling with it now. That with the new career change and everything else, I'm going, can I do this? Am I okay to do this? And then yeah, and I've been told by multiple friends, common friends that we have together, that that I've grown so much in the past couple years that I'm like, I didn't notice until people like pointed out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I yeah, okay, that's because I have grown and I've learned to love myself when I didn't love myself. I've struggled with my weight my whole entire adult life, and that's been a struggle. But now that I've like come to love myself, it's been a lot better because I'm more comfortable in my skin. I'm okay with my curves. I'm okay with my thickness. I'm okay with that because that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of us females do struggle with that a lot because we are our worst critics so bad. We criticize every little thing down to the teeniest details, and we get in our own heads about things
Yeah,
that we don't need.
definitely.
My husband and I were just talking about it last night because I'm like been like a lot of self-doubting myself the last couple weeks because of this new job change and everything, going, I can't do this. And last night he goes, no babe, you got this, you'll rock it, you're okay. And I'm going, do I? Do I
Yeah.
really have this? I actually slept good for the first time last night in like 2 weeks. So
Good.
I'm like, okay, yep. I'm going to just grab the bull by the horns, as they say, and just run with it. And we'll see where
Yeah.
it goes, see what happens.
Yeah. I struggled with self-love too my whole life, not even really realizing it. Like I would do things for myself thinking like that was self-love, but I never put my mental health as a priority until more recently. And prioritizing my mental health and what I want above
Right.
above anybody else in my life, including my kids, because you can't fully love your kids until you fully love yourself.
Exactly. And it's fun because I mean, we both have older children, adult children now, and that my girls will call me and go, Mom, what do I do? And I go, so do you want the girlfriend advice or do you want the mom advice?
Mhm.
Because you can have both from me, because I want you can have that relationship now that they're older. Between when they're younger, it's strictly being a mom and not being their friend to get your point across. But now that they're adults and making their own decisions, you can do the whole, okay, I can be your friend now. So how do you want to tackle this type of thing?
Yeah, I really love that. Do you want the mom advice or the girlfriend advice? Because yeah, you would give your girlfriend different advice than you would necessarily give your kids. So yeah,
Exactly, because
you
it's
let
like,
them choose.
right, and I feel that mom advice is more sincere and more that sensitive part, because I mean, we're all sensitive on certain subjects and different things in that. And I think being the mom, you can have those sensitive relationships too. But being the girlfriend, it's more of the, blunt and to the point and being forward with you, and this is how it really is,
Yeah.
type of thing. That's how I feel about it. But having that, and I encourage my girls to have that. I don't, you're beautiful, don't matter what care and what, who you are or what you do or how you look. Don't worry about what the supermodels look like.
Right. Mhm.
And that I was just, have you seen the videos on Facebook and TikTok of the Victoria's Secret fashion runway thing that
No.
they just did their fashion show in New York, and they had plus size models on the runway.
It's about
I thought it
time.
was the coolest thing going,
Yeah.
you know what? We're beautiful at any size. It don't matter. And it just takes that self-love. Do you know how much self-love and confidence those girls had to have to do that in front
Yeah.
of an audience? That had to been mind-racking.
Mhm. That's awesome, and
But
it's
yeah,
about time that Victoria's Secret and those stores and stuff do that
yeah.
because
And even
we're
seeing them on the like Miss USA pageants and that, you're seeing the plus size girls come out of the woodwork and go, you know what? We're beautiful at any size. It don't matter if we're skinny or a size 24. It don't matter. We're beautiful anyways. And I think it goes with our mental health, like we were talking about, that and the self-love and the self-care and the self-confidence that you need to pull it off and present that
Mhm.
type of thing. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So I looked up some some ways cuz self-love and self-care, they're kind of two in one, but they're kind of different. And so I looked
Mhm.
up like some self-love things, and this is what I found is setting boundaries, which is huge. I have learned to do that recently with family members and friends.
Mhm.
Being kind to yourself, which is also huge because like you said, we are our own worst critics. We always have been our own worst critics and our own worst judges, and just remembering to be kind to yourself and forgive yourself because
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I have made mistakes in the past, and I have to look back at past Michelle and be like, it's okay. You did what you could at the time, and now that you know better, you're gonna do better. But, like,
And
forgiving that.
we've known each other since when? Our boys were what, 3, 4 years old?
Yeah,
And just in the many years of how much we both have changed
yeah,
and grown. It's been fun to watch because you're tackling your own endeavors on what you wanna do, and it's been
mhm,
fun watching you grow and watching you finally self-love yourself,
yeah.
because when I first met you, you were going through tough times, you were going through that hardship and everything else, and I seen that, but to see you now, you're striving and you're growing, and it's so fun to watch.
Thank you. I know, and like you said at the beginning, like, our mutual friends have said how much you've grown, and I definitely have noticed that in you too. Like, your confidence is so much, and it's so refreshing. Like, I love it. I love it. We need confidence.
And we need more of the, like, self-help or hype from our friends to get through
Mhm.
different things. And us girls hyping each other up more than what it usually is.
Yeah.
Because we don't, and you don't see. I mean, I have two friends that are, one's running her own business, one's running another thing, and it's just like, girl, you got this, boss lady, go for it, do it. And then it's
Yeah.
just like, but now I have to get my mindset the same way for what I'm going to be doing, and it's just like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this too. If
Yeah,
they can do it,
remember,
I can
you
do it.
got this.
Right. If they can do that, I can do it too. So it's
Yeah.
even fun. I'm I'm at the rink and I'm watching the kids come in and out, and it's kind of
Oh,
funny
yeah.
because kids used to be like really short and now they're like taller than their parents. It's great.
Yeah. If your son comes out, we can always pause this and then start it up again too, like, when you get home if you need to.
Oh, okay. He was going to shoot puck, so it's fine.
Okay. Another couple other things under self-love, surrounding yourself with positivity, and like a few of my friends have told me that I have been very helpful in their journey in finding the positive in everything. And I find that I have a lot easier time looking for the positive in their situations than my own. But remembering to surround yourself with positivity, like friends that can do for me what I've been able to do for them. So just for instance, the past couple days I was feeling negative about a certain situation, and I had told a friend, and she's like, remember to stay positive, blah blah blah. She gives me all these different ideas, and I'm like, thank you so much. Like,
Mhm.
I do that for you all the time. I need to remember to do that for myself, but it's
I
nice
think
to
it's
have
easier
friends that remind you.
I think it's easier for us to, like, be positive for everybody else but ourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
definitely.
think that's where we have a hard thing of being in the moment for ourselves
Mhm.
instead of everybody else
Yeah. And
type
one
of
of
thing.
one of the last things under self-love, and when I saw this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like been my mission lately," is interrupt your negative thoughts. And that has that's what really helped me like in the past year and a half turn my life around and be more confident and love myself more, is like the second a negative thought enters my brain, and if you've been watching any of my TikToks, I say this in like almost every one, is like when I started catching those negative thoughts, that and like turning them around to what I wanted, that's when my life made a huge difference. That's when I really, really, truly started loving myself, because I would let the negative thoughts control me all the time. And we have
You want
60,000 thoughts a day, 80% are negative. We think about the same thing day after day after day. It's like,
that.
how can you be happy when 80% of the time you have these negative thoughts? And I mean like those ones that are deep in our subconscious that aren't, you're not even consciously thinking of them, but like
Right.
they're there. And so when I saw that interrupt your negative thoughts, I was like, yes.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
I agree
So
with
I
that
mean,
one.
now because I practiced that for so long, I don't have negative thoughts enter my mind anymore, because the second that they do, I'm catching them right away. And before, they used to control my mood for the day, the week, the month. Yeah.
Right. I
Um
feel you because I've been the same way, and after watching your videos and going, I've been doing the same damn thing. I have to stop with all the negative in my head and push it aside and go, "You know what? Okay, it's fine. I can't rectify or control that situation. So now let's just move on and say, whatever. It is what it is. We can move on from it." But yeah, I've struggled with it too, but I've gotten better. I want to say in the last 6 months, I've gotten better with it.
yeah. And it makes a huge difference. Like, I'm
It
just
has.
so much happier all the time now.
Yeah.
Um going back to the mental health awareness, is like I did not realize how unhappy I was, like how depressed I was, but I was contemplating suicide regularly. Like I
Mhm.
was so just sad all the time, and like those negative thoughts just took over all the time.
Yeah.
And
I can sympathize with that one because I was at the same point at a
yeah.
point in time in my life too that I've like was that way. And it's like, we get put in certain situations for a reason and we get pulled out of those situations for the reasons. We get people dropped in our lives that should be there, but we don't know why. But then we find out the why. To be that supportive person, to be there to bounce stuff off in each other and go, oh my gosh, this has been one heck of a week. Now what do I do? And go,
Yeah.
you know what? Yesterday, let's move on to tomorrow. It's fine.
Yep. Mhm.
Type of thing. But yeah, you don't realize how deep you can get.
Mhm.
And it's just all in your head. You get so much into your head that it's just like, and then people go, oh, and it's fun to, it's not really fun, but I feel that we put up a good front and we
Yes.
get so good at that front that we can be in a crowded room or whatever with a million people, but we're not mentally there because we're mentally screaming on the inside and we're
Mhm.
smiling being happy on the outside, but internally we're just like, can we just go? I don't want to be
Mhm.
here. I don't want to do this type of thing. But yeah, we get so in our heads that it's crazy. And I'm learning that right now that I'm like been so in my head for the last 2 weeks that I just like, okay, but after I had my little chat with my husband last night, it was just like, okay, I now know that I have you as my biggest supporter and fan supporting me.
Yeah.
Now I can get out of my head and now I can go, okay, I'm ready to tackle Monday. Bring it
Yeah. Yeah.
type of thing.
It's good that
Like,
you have that support system. Joe does that for me too, like, and I never even really realized how supportive that he had, can be.
same.
But yeah, like I never gave him the credit before, but yeah, like
Like,
when if I'm feeling shitty about something, he's usually the first one I'll go to too. Like actually this morning, I was like, you're probably going to be annoyed with me because I go through these purging things all the time where I'm like, there's too much stuff in this house, and I'll throw a bunch of stuff away. And then I'm fine for a few months and then I do it again. And I still have way too much stuff in my house. And I was like, you're probably going to be annoyed with me, but I really feel like a purge coming on again. I'm like, I just, it, it's so much work sometimes to just, and he's like, just take one room at a time, and just get
yeah,
a garbage bag and just do it. And I'm like, so don't worry about donating. He's like, no, if that's going to stop you from actually doing, getting rid of this stuff, no, just throw it away.
right, right. It's crazy how those little like you don't realize how your significant other can be your biggest supporter in that, and then when life changes come up and that, and then they're like, "Hey, you got this. You're the rock. Go for it. Do it."
Yeah.
I'm going, "Okay, just breathe."
Mhm.
Yep. But yeah, I don't think we give our significant others the credit that they're due because I mean, we're the moms. We run the I feel like we're more busier with everything and trying to keep everybody else happy besides ourselves.
Yeah. Mhm.
We
Yeah.
always put ourselves second and put everybody else first.
Yep, definitely. We got to
And I
stop
don't know
doing
about
that.
yeah, and I don't know about how you feel, but I feel like now that I'm starting to put myself first, everything else just falls in line with everything.
Yeah. Agree with that for sure.
I mean,
Mhm.
between personal life and social life and everything, it just feels like all the puzzle pieces are fitting together.
Yeah.
And it's good because that puzzle piece is almost complete, and then you can move on to another puzzle and start something else.
Mhm.
And I
So,
also too is that when we're better with ourselves and more confident with ourselves, the sex life is better.
yeah, definitely.
It's just amazing how it all just kind of ties together.
Yeah. And so, like, with self-love and like you just said, like, putting yourself first, self-care comes up. And I think self-care is gonna look different for everyone.
Mhm.
What does self-care look like for you?
I want to say self care for me is more like I just went and got my went and had a hair appointment this past week and I'm like, okay, now I feel better and confident because I started a new job on Monday that I'm like, yep, okay. I'm presentable, I'm professional, now I can remember to just move on. I think it's the whole having those hair appointments, going and getting your nails done, or and sometimes it's just taking a ride with a friend,
Yeah.
having that interaction a lot too because you know I seen a thing on Facebook the other day that says best friend therapy is a lot cheaper than a therapist therapy, and I'm like, yes, that's
Yeah,
very true,
definitely.
very true.
Sorry, I'm sick.
You're sick again? You seem like you always get a cold or something going on. It's this weather. I blame
I
it on the
never
weather.
get sick.
I blame it on the weather. Oh, I've been fighting something too, so My
Well,
brain's been all
Les was sick, twice in the past 2 weeks, and, I was doing my best to hold it off, and it finally took over on Wednesday.
I
But
was like that about a month ago. I woke up with a sore throat and everything else, and I'm like, "You know what?" I started taking something for it right away. It's this weather. I mean, it's 70 degrees at the end of October.
oh, shit. Oh, no, I did hit record. Sorry, sorry, sorry. I just thought, "Oh, no, I
No,
haven't been
thanks for
recording
thanks
this,"
for
but no, I
it
have.
did say record.
Sorry.
It's okay, brain fog, it's fine.
Um, yeah, so self-care, intentional actions that do things that make you happy. Like you said, like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, taking a drive with a friend, going out to lunch with someone. And like some people like to join a gym. I like to go tanning. I like to travel. So it's going to look different for everyone, but make sure that you're prioritizing yourself by loving and caring for you first. And that just will help your mental health all around.
Right. It's also Breast Care Awareness Month too, along with I thought along with the mental health, but I think you can't specifically have mental health just in a month. It's all year round.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's all year round. And I check in with my kids on a daily basis to make sure they're okay and making sure that they're mentally okay.
Mhm.
Because first thing to watch your kids go through depression and struggle with the struggles that you have and that. And it's just like, no, it's fine. You'll get through it. Everybody struggles.
Mhm.
It everybody has that point in their life that you are gonna struggle. And it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's definitely okay not to be okay. And I tell my kids, I'm like, it's okay not to be okay, but know your worth.
Yeah. Mhm.
And don't let anybody else bring your worth down because you think that's what you need to do.
Right, right, definitely.
So it's been an interesting couple months and life is just gonna get crazier as we go forward.
But this is JoySex, the podcast all about sex. So, and you did bring up a couple minutes ago about how sex can improve your mental health. So, how does well, here's what, like, scientifically, um it really, when you have sex, it releases the feel good hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins, which can help reduce the stress, boost your mood, deepen your emotional intimacy. It also can help lower your blood pressure, improve memory. I did not know that. Boost your immune system. So I should have been having sex like earlier this week to hopefully hold off this sickness. But the last time I did it was last Saturday.
Girl, I am there with you. There's
But
just been so much
what
life
does
happening.
what does sex do for your mental health?
I think it mostly is that in that moment you can feel good about yourself. You can feel confident about yourself and it helps you. I mean, you can get through the day and that makes the day feel more enjoyable when you set that mood in the morning or whenever you feel better after it. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, you're all like you said before, you're like all lovey-dovey and you just don't want to you want to spend the rest of the day with that person and you don't want to leave that moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped a lot with the whole aspect of life. You feel more in tune with each other and in
Mhm.
touch with each other. And it makes you and the whole intimacy part and the sex part in that it also reduces depression.
Mhm.
I mean, a 20-second hug reduces that depression.
Yeah. Yeah, I have
I'm like,
heard that
a
before.
20-second hug? You can hug me all day long. Please do.
Yeah.
If it reduces that much. But I think it's just the whole aspect of being in tune with each other
Mhm.
and reconnecting with each other.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
It does, make me, like, all, like, lovey-dovey. And, like, usually for days, like, even the next day
yeah,
or 2, I'm all, like, more touchy-feely, more hugs,
yep.
more kisses, more I love yous, and,
Mhm.
I'm like, "We just need to do it every couple days so that I my mood just stays up here all the time."
It feels like if you do it that way that you're more self-regulated.
Yeah.
If you can relate to that, you're more balanced. Maybe
Mhm.
balance is a better word for it, that you're mentally balanced, but and you're also emotionally balanced.
Yeah.
Everything is just like, "Okay, it's alright in my little world, just leave me be, I'm good for a couple days." "Okay, you're becoming crabby, what's wrong?" Well, you haven't touched me in a couple days,
Yeah.
so maybe that
Right?
it I think that's that way for everyone,
Yeah.
that you that that feelings afterwards.
I wish because the reason this book came about was because we have some friends that were like always complaining about their sex life. And so
Mhm.
one day Joe and I sat down and we were like, well, what makes our sex life so good? And
Right.
I think making it a priority, and when I first started keeping track, it was like October of 2019 for a year. And I started keeping track because I'm like, we don't do it enough. And he's like, yes, we do. And I'm like, fine, I'm going to keep track so I can prove to you. And,
You were trying to prove a point. Yes,
yeah.
you were
And it
trying to prove
was like in my face later because after that year, we did the math and it was like every 3.92 days or something. So it's like, all right, less than every 4 days we're having sex. Yeah. Okay. That's enough. Like, I mean, I would rather have it more. I'd be happier with every other day, or
right,
every day,
right.
to be honest with you.
But look at if you look at the scientifics of it, I mean, look at the average couple of like, it's what, once to 2 times a week, if that?
Oh, if that. Like, I looked it up not that long ago, and it was, like, a couple times a month, if that, like, for the
Yeah, if
average
that,
couple.
and I feel those are the crabby couples.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, I wish that everyone would just have more sex. You'll be so much happier.
Yeah, to be honest, you
Y
will. You'll be
yeah,
like, "Okay, we have it's funny because you can tell when somebody is like, I have friends that I can have those conversations with, and they'll be, like, crabby and whiny, and it's like, "Dude, you just need to get laid. Just go
yeah,
home.
yeah,
I don't wanna deal with you. Just go home."
yeah.
And it's
And
just
if you don't have somebody to have sex with yourself. Like, it's
right,
okay to have toys and play with yourself. Like,
right,
I mean,
and I think that helps sets the mood too for different things, is
yeah,
that you're have a partner that travels a lot, or you're not with them all the time, and that you can have that still have those releases of those endorphins and everything, the feel good hormones and that, because the only one that knows yourself better than you is you,
yeah.
not your
Mhm.
partner.
Yeah.
So I feel that too, but yeah, you can still have fun with yourself even though they're not there.
Yeah.
They might be a little jealous of it, but whatever.
And if like you said, traveling, if they travel, try phone sex. Like,
Right.
it's fun.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's also interesting too because then you can do more role playing that way
Yes.
too. So you
Mhm.
can keep it spicy even though they're not there or whatever type of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of role playing, so this was several years ago. Joe and I decided that we wanted to pretend like we didn't know each other. So we went to
Mhm.
a bar that we never went to. Um, and we were gonna play the whole thing up. And well, like we live in a small town, we still knew people in there. So like it was impossible to pretend like we didn't know who each other was. So it was a big fail. But I think it would be fun if you're out of town at a place that you actually don't know anybody at to like, role play in that like you don't know each other. I think that'd be fun and
Yeah, it helps when you're not walking into a bar and you're like, "Oh, crap, there's 20 people in here that I
right,
know."
right.
You gotta go outside of town. Even going outside of town, you still run into people that you know.
Yeah,
It's
sometimes.
like, "Dude, how can I go from here to there and not know anybody?"
Yeah.
Even traveling, when I've traveled in that, it's like, you get to the bridge or whatever, and there's, like you walk in the McDonald's and there's 10 people that you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Really? Come on."
I think it was a couple years ago, Joe and I went downstate for something, and we were at some random restaurant, like off the freeway, and one of the local teams was traveling down for I can't remember if it was hockey. I think it might have been hockey, like a big hockey game downstate. And it was like, are you serious? We're like 8 hours from home and know like 20 people in
Yeah,
here.
but that's the joys of being in a small town, and we both grew up in bigger towns than what we live in now. I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up in a suburb of a city, and it was a smaller, like, township area, but it's just like, you still knew your neighbors and that, and you still walked into the bar and you could see people that you know, but not like it is here.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I feel like you didn't have, like, the town gossip and the town drama like you get around where we live now,
Yeah.
and it's just like, okay, yep, it's interesting, and it's really funny.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up, but Christina, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I really appreciate it because I did not want to just get on here and talk by myself. So,
I get
and
that,
for
you're
meeting
smart.
up and helping come up with our plan. I still have my notes here from that day. So, thank you so
I
much.
know we
I really
didn't
appreciate
get
it.
into real deep about the whole, like, sex portion of it, but I just think sometimes you gotta do the whole other aspect of it because it all ties together.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too like when you're loving yourself and you're caring for yourself, you like you said you're going to feel more confident, you're going to want sex more often,
Right, right.
and your partner's going to pick up on that confidence and that self-love too and yeah,
Yeah, they pick up on their game, and it's just like, "Okay, you gotta match my vibe. If you're not matching my vibe, I don't wanna be around you."
right.
I heard, we were out to lunch the other day, and there was some college kids that sat down at a table near us, and they were talking about how they're like, "She just wasn't matching my vibe, and I didn't wanna be there." And I was like, "That's exactly how I've been lately. If you're not gonna match my energy and match my vibe, then I don't need that in my life."
Yeah, because that's just going to bring you down. That's going to bring your vibe down.
Right. And
Mhm.
I find it so funny that the kids are using the word vibe now because it's just like it wasn't. I mean, back when we were teenagers or college age and that, what was our slang that we used for that? I can't even remember.
I don't remember either, but I'm sure afterwards we're going to Google it and come up with it.
Right. Yeah, because I'm like, we never like surrounded ourselves with people that matched our energy. And we were just like, we put ourselves in different situations, and it was just like, you just kind of flowed with it. You just kind of went with it. But now
Mhm.
that I'm older and an adult, I think it's more, you gotta match my energy. You
Mhm.
just gotta match my energy. And I've learned that a lot in the last 6, 7 months too, of being surrounded by more people that match my energy and match my vibe. I was told by a friend of mine that she was like, "I'm so glad that we've met. You came into our lives. You're just a bright star that we didn't know we needed." And I'm like, "Really?" To me, that's like there's my self-doubt going,
Yeah.
"You're excited that I'm in your life? Like, why?"
Yeah. You can't think like that, girl, you know that.
Oh, I know, but that was just an example of it being that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a pleasure to do this with you. It was fun.
Yeah,
I'll
thank
have
you so
to
much.
point to jump on with Dr. Hank is back from his trip in Italy, and join in on that conversation because that seems like it would be a interesting conversation, or even to hear his comments about our conversation.
Yeah, yeah, I know. He's so good. He always like everything we would say, he would like put a good spin on it. He's like so good at everything, like
He seems like he's just that type of person. I mean, just personally, just the vibe that I got from him watching the last podcast and that going, he'll take anything and just encourage it even more
yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
type of thing.
And I'm not there yet. I'm working on it, but
I don't think we'll ever be there, but we'll get there.
yeah.
We're always working on ourselves every day.
Mhm. For sure. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And we will see you all next month on the Joy